I just got in an order from CGC that has books that I submitted to the Jim Steranko signing. Stay tuned as we open this up and find out what books did I submit and what grades did I get. Welcome back, comic book fans. It's Rusty again with Collector Auctions, and as I said, today we've got a CGC unboxing. This came in just a few days ago. I haven't opened it up yet, but in full disclosure, I actually know what the grades are. I did a mistake. I was checking the shipping, and I hit the order number instead, and I instantly found out what grades I got on the books that I submitted. But you guys don't know what books I've got in here yet, and you don't know what grades. So we'll still do the reveal. You just won't see my reaction as much as it would if it was a complete shock to me. So let's get right into this. I've got the knife. It is only 2 books. So they sent it into one of these. I love these boxes, the literature style boxes. They're very secure. When I ship internationally a slab, I will use these boxes. I always feel like they are a little bit more secure than just a normal box that I use. And that's not to say that the boxes I use normally are unsecure. It's just that these are more secure. In fact, the boxes I normally use are the same ones that Heritage Auction uses when they ship a slab to you. So you shouldn't be worried about ordering from me. If you ever order a slab from me from eBay or Shortbox, you're going to get the same great quality packaging. Anyway, if you're international, you're going to get one of these boxes, so most likely. Anyway, guys, hey, let's get into this. So as I said, I know what the grades are, and we'll go over that. And I will tell you what my reactions were when I actually saw that. And I was kicking myself when I saw the grades. I'm like, wow, I guess we're still going to film the show. And unlike other channels, I do want to have that element of surprise for you guys. And I want it to be genuine. And my reactions should be genuine. But in this case, I want to be transparent. So you're not going to get that same reaction. I'm not going to fake it just for the sake of a video. And I guess there's no sense hiding the grades for myself. As I said, I already know what they are. Surprisingly, they did not put cardboard pieces around this. I had the bubble wrap and I had the rubber band, but they did not secure it as well as they normally do. All right, so I've got both books here, and yep, the grades are exactly what they said on the system. I mean, it's not going to be different most likely. But let's just start with the first one, and I will do a grade reveal for you guys, even though I know what it is. So right here is Jim Steranko's X-Men number 50, the first cover appearance of Polaris. This cover alone just kicks ass, and obviously, this is probably, it's more popular than Polaris's first appearance, even though that was another Steranko book, another Steranko cover. But this is the money book for Steranko right here with the X-Men. As you can see, he signed it up here like he traditionally does on this X-Men book in a green marker up here at the top. And let's take a look at it real quick. It looks really good. Now, I picked this book up down in Charlotte at HeroesCon a couple years ago, and it took me that long to finally get it into Jim Steranko. Now, I could have taken it back to HeroesCon at some point or another public appearance by Jim Steranko, but I kind of held on to it, and eventually they ended up having, earlier this year, they had a signing at CGC with Jim Steranko. So I sent in this book and one other, and I wasn't sure what I was going to get. I thought it was a pretty good book, but let me show you the grade. So we get that 5.5. It's not horrible, and I wish it was at least a 6.5. That's kind of where I got it. But when I ended up buying this book, and I thought I picked it up for a pretty good deal down in Charlotte a couple years ago, again, prices are a little bit higher. You could probably do a much better deal these days. And I was looking for a very decent copy, and I thought I had found one. But as it turned out, this area right here was very worn. It's very soiled, and with yellow on there, I didn't want to really go in there aggressively trying to get the dirt off of this as much as I would. Now, I did press this. It's got some normal wear. You got definitely some tanning on the back, probably some stains on here as well. It was one of those cases where I think that if I was looking at this book today at a con, I would be a little bit more discerning for the money I was putting into this. And at a con, you can probably have multiple choices to find this, but I found this, what I thought was a really good copy, and at a really decent price at the time 2 years ago. And I didn't hesitate to go ahead and get this into the signing, because once I started working on the book, I realized it was a little bit lower grade than I expected. And I knew that it's a book that I probably will keep in the PC for now, but it definitely will be for sale, because I would love to have a higher grade. But knowing, and I've done this in the past, I know that this book was going to grade a little bit lower, and I wanted, by adding Jim Steranko's signature to this, you actually do add more value to this. And this is one of those that I think the fair market on this at a 5.5, even with his signature, it actually will, if I can sell it for the fair market price right now, I'll actually make a little bit of a profit, but not much. I will definitely get out of this book from what I end up investing in it initially. And you guys may say you're just a dirty flipper at this case, in this point. Well, the point is, if this had been a much higher grade, I would have been more inclined to really want it in my PC. Now, truth be told, it's still going to be in my PC until it probably sells, and at some point I will replace it, I'm sure. But 5.5 is not horrible. This is a very, very nice presenting book, and I think it's a good starter book for somebody looking to get into a Jim Steranko book like this. All right, guys. So there was that one, and as I said, I'm not completely disappointed, but it didn't shock me that the grade was what it was. Again, I kind of wanted that 6.5. It is what it is. But the other one was a book that I was more interested in getting the signature. But it's because of the book I submitted was actually already graded by CGC probably a year or so prior to even doing this video. It was, here, I'll show it to you. It is Captain America 111. This is probably my favorite Jim Steranko piece of work out there. No other piece, even his work on Nick Fury, Strange Tales, Incredible Hulk Annual, I mean, anything. This is by far my favorite Jim Steranko piece. And I've actually got a signed copy of this. It ended up being a 7.0 in the PC. Now, I do have that one up for sale. But I had a 9.4 of this book graded. And that's a pretty good grade for this book. I didn't do any work other than a clean and press. I mean, I didn't go and try to whiten this or do anything. It was a pretty decent level of white to begin with. And I was concerned at the time about sending books in like that were graded a lot higher than I kind of expected, sending a book in like that in fear of losing that grade. But over time, I've sent in several books that I have maintained a grade. I think only once did I have a slight grade reduction, and that's one that I think will eventually get corrected. But in all the other cases, I've actually done really good retaining that grade. Well, I had a 9.4 on this, and I'm going, this is a book I really wanted. I was not happy with that 7.0, and I kind of wanted to add the signature to this one right here. So that's what I did. I sent it in. It was still slabbed. I didn't break it out or anything. And the question was going to be, did I retain the grade? Well, I already know the answer. Let's show you what I got. And we kept the 9.4, so I'm entirely happy with it. The grader's notes say there is a crease somewhere down here, I believe on the right cover. That's something I will try to do when I put the video out, as I will try to put the grader's notes on both of these so you guys can see what some of the faults were. But super happy, 9.4 with a Jim Steranko signature. In fact, I don't even know what the fair market value on this is. All I know is that I did put a value of $400 on this when I submitted it, and they did not increase that. They didn't charge me extra for that. I think that this is a book that will probably come out. It's definitely more than a $400 book at a 9.4, and this, even unsigned 9.4, was higher than that. So I think it was close enough that they didn't overcharge me at that point, but couldn't be happier at this point. 9.4, we kept the grade, Can't ask for much more at that point. Anyway, guys, that is it for today. Quick CGC unboxing. Definitely leave me a comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about the books that I got signed. And again, if you're ever interested in anything that I show on the channel, just reach out to me at collectorauctions@yahoo.com or DM me on my Instagram account. Either way, you can find those things. I do list a lot of books. I may not have everything on the channel on my in my eBay store or on my Shortbox page, but the easiest way is if you see it in the channel, just reach out to me at the Yahoo address. All right, guys, that is it. If you enjoyed today's show, definitely give me a like, slap that subscribe, and click on that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the future episodes that I have got coming up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 3 p.m. Hope to see you here for the next show. Guys, have a great day, and just remember, every comic has a story.